what point did you start experiencing with steroids and additional drugs?
Before my first competition, because I knew the guys I was competing against were using steroids. So I'm like, this is, you know, this is part of the game, right? And if you're going to compete without steroids, you're going to be at a great disadvantage. Not impossible, maybe, if you're genetically much more gifted than the other guys. Well, actually, my first competition wasn't with the federation. It was a local competition, Mr. Birmingham, and I won that while I was natural. And the guy that placed second and third, I knew them, so I knew they were using steroids, and I was still able to beat them. And I dieted for like a week.
Natural.
Yeah, and natural. But when I went to the federation and I knew it was a different standard, then I started about 12 weeks before the competition.
What'd you start off with? What was the first experience?
It was so little to what people use now, but still it was dramatic because it was the first time I ever touched anything. First thing I ever took was Dynabol.
Okay.
20 milligrams a day of Dynabol. I took that for 6 weeks, and then I switched over to one Primobolan shot a week and a little bit of Anavar, like 15 milligrams or something. That's kind of like bikini girls use that now.
And Primo's like pre-competition stuff.
Yeah.
Primo's not to really get you.
No, that was when I was,
Yeah.
I did a little bit to build up, and then I came down with a diet.
Got it.
And I was in pretty good shape. I dieted for like 7 weeks or something.
When did you really, because even when you went against Lee Haney, when you get on stage and you look at you look good.
Yeah.
You look like this guy can win, but you took it to a whole different level. So at what point did you kind of take your game up and experience with different things?
Well, the next level, I was just using steroids up to that point. So the next level was growth hormone, which was very expensive and not that available. But now I got second in the Mr. Olympia. So now I got income and I got contacts, and I decided, let's try the growth hormone. I'm sure that my competitors are already using it, or some of them. So I started with that, and that like enabled me to go to another level over the next few years.
What was the reaction you would get? Was there different things when you took this? You felt like this. You know, I had the whole thing with temper, acne, react. You know, was there anything you're like, but when I use this, I got to be careful because my fuse gets shorter. When I use this, I feel like I can take over the world. When I use this,
I had that aggression, but most of the time it didn't spill out because I used most of it in the gym, and I wasn't in a lot of situations where it could be triggered. Like a lot of guys at the gym, they used to work security at the nightclubs and so on. I did that very early on, but when I started competing and then I got the gym, I didn't need to do that, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So I was not going, I was not going out to bars or nightclubs where somebody might piss you off, or, So I kept myself kind of a bit isolated, and I did feel aggression, but it was like a controlled aggression that I could use for the workouts. As far as side effects, water retention, acne, some of my I did get blood checks, and some of them were out of the normal range. It was, my doctor told me, you're not dying yet, but it's not a healthy thing to keep doing this.
You're not dying.
Yeah, you're not dying. It's not perfect, but your body's under stress. But this is your profession, and you're earning good money. So my advice to you is do this and get in and get out, and don't do it for too long.
How long did you stay at the peak of experiencing with steroids?
Basically, my Mr. Olympia reign, which was 6 years. I think my intake while I was an amateur was really kind of moderate. But then I got second in the Mr. Olympia. What if I can go another level? That's now it's worth any potential risks, maybe.
What is the level of usage then versus today for somebody that's competing?
Yeah, today is much more.
Is it twice as much, 50%
2 or 3
more?
times as much.
2 or 3 times
2 or 3 times as much, yeah.
So if you're competing in today's times with what's accessible today, how would you have been the same size, or is there a limit to your size, or would you have to be even bigger than that?
Well, I think, there's a point where it's beneficial, up to a bell curve, and then it's not. And I think possibly one of the reasons where the guys are not getting into shape now, or having trouble getting into shape, is because they're using a lot of stuff, and it's hard. They don't show the details in the separation. They have the volume, but they don't have the details in the separation, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, because I'm not really au fait with everything that everyone's like using now.